Hello, this is just going to be a quick overview of the Wild Hearts food system. It's a little elaborate, probably more so than it needs to be, but pretty useful to understand. This isn't going to show every combination of what you can do, but show you the general flow of how it works and how to combine things and whatnot. So, when you pick up your ingredients, you can just straight up eat them raw and get the buffs that you see on the screen right now with these raw ingredients. And that's good at the start of the game, but as you advance in the tree and get further in the game, those stat boosts aren't really enough, and you're going to want to be able to get a little bit more out of them. And there are two ways to improve them. You can dry them or you can pickle them. We're going to start with drying because that's the option you're going to get first, and it's kind of the easier to work with. So you do that with a drying rack. And basically what it's going to do is it's just going to take the stats and improve them a bit. So if you look on the left there, unmilled rice gives 9 health boost and 2% recovery boost for 30 fullness. You can only take up to 100 fullness total. And if you dry it, you'll get 45 fullness for 18 health boost and 4 recovery. So double the stats for only 50% more fullness. So it's an improvement there. But it's not one-to-one to dry something. It takes multiple, and it depends on the type of ingredient. So I have the unmilled rice here, which is a higher level ingredient. Fills up with every 4, and that's with upgrades. It's going to take more initially, but as you get upgrades in your tree, it takes fewer. But if I look at the millet here, oh, I guess this one's the same too, but it can vary from ingredient to ingredient. It's going to see it more so in pickling, I think, than in drying, so apologies there. But what you can also do is mix ingredients of the same type. You'll see that everything's grayed out except for the unmilled rice here, because they're the same type of ingredient. They're both grains. So I can put both in here, and that changes what the result's going to be. This just becomes dried rice and just gives straight up health. And there can be benefits to doing so, if there are stats that you want. So in that case with the fish, combining multiple fish becomes health and fatigue alleviation. Which, in this case, maybe not so good because the Pebble Gloss gives it automatically, but maybe. If you combine meat, it becomes attack boost. And if you combine vegetables, it becomes a health and defense boost. And that's how drying works. And you stack them up, and over time, they'll dry out. You'll see this little icon. It's done. You can pick them up. My inventory is full, so I can't right now. Pickling is a little bit more complicated because it requires not only an ingredient, but a seasoning. Seasonings you can gather out in the wild. Some of them you just pick up from gathering points. Some you can get from small kimono, usually by petting them rather than killing them. Some you can get from smaller critters that you pick up and put in a cage. There's another way to get some, which we'll go over in a moment. In the case of pickling, it goes by the food type. So vegetables, and you can combine, you can use all the same, but it's always going to be just vegetable. It's not going to be a golden sesame improvement. So this is going to be vegetable. And there are, I believe, 7 different types of seasoning, and each one sort of has a different effect on what it does. So we've got sweet, which tends to add a wilt effect onto that type, based on whatever the food type does. Cured, which will add resilience. Or you'll sometimes see salted instead of cured. Those are going to be the same thing. Pickled, which comes from vinegar, which might vary from type to type. We'll show each one. But here in the case of vegetables, it's giving increased defense and ironclad. Soy, adds fatigue alleviation. Miso just is giving more health and defense boost, ironclad or anything of the like, and also a bigger health boost than the vinegar, but about the same health boost as this soy. Herbed, which adds a resilience to one of the status effects in the case of vegetables, tangle. And spicy, which adds elemental attack boost. The type of seasoning is what matters, not the grade of it. So you'll see like chili pepper here gives on its own on the left there one set of buffs. Fall wasabi gives a different. But if you see in the process results, they give the same thing. Spicy is spicy. It doesn't care what seasoning you put in. In the case of meat, spicy does fire. Herb does blaze resilience. You get attack boost from the miso, attack boost and fatigue alleviation from soy. You're going to see it's fatigue alleviation from soy a lot. Pickling with vinegar adds critical master, which increases your critical damage. Crit chance. Fire resilience from the salted, and fire wilt from the sugar. In the case of fish, get water wilt from the sweet, water resilience from the salted, fatigue alleviation and health from vinegar, even more fatigue alleviation and health boost from soy, but for different health boost. Basically, I don't think there's any benefit to pickling the fish. You should pretty much just do the soy, but if that's all you have, that's fine. Miso adds leeway, which is reduced stamina consumption. Herbed adds freezing resilience, and spicy increases water damage. And then in the case of rice, sweet adds earth and wind wilt. Salted adds resilience. Vinegar is just for pickle, just straight up health boost. Fatigue alleviation again with soy. Recovery boost and health boost with miso. So your healing items do a little bit more. Herbed adds antitoxin, which resists poison. And spicy increases earth and wind damage. And that's the overview of pickling. It's similar in drying that you have to put in multiple. But that's how you get that. There is no benefit really to putting dried ingredients in pickled, or I don't believe drying pickled either really helps. So do one or the other, don't do both. So the other way to get seasoning is actually with a fermenting cask. What you can do is ferment ingredients to get a type of seasoning. You can tell what the seasoning type's going to be based on the color of the icon. So meat paste becomes something salty, vegetable becomes vinegar for pickling, fish becomes fish paste, which is soy, and rice becomes miso paste for miso. So regardless of if you dry or pickle, there is one final step that you can do a bit later that you should always do. Don't skip it. Like once you get access to it, never go without it, and that's smoking the ingredients. Smoking an ingredient just straight up improves the stats of the base item. It doesn't work as well with just regular base ingredients, but if you have dried ingredients or pickled ingredients, it'll improve dramatically. So always smoke the resulting ingredients when you have them. Smoking is 1-to-1, unlike drying and pickling, so you don't lose anything in the process there. But yeah, that's the quick overview of the Wild Hearts food system. I hope it's helpful to you.